Welcome to Something Special Designs by Tina Williams, where I create French country, cottage, shabby, and farmhouse decor with mainly thrifted items. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I upload future videos. Hi everybody, this is Tina. Hope everybody's doing well. I have some thrift hauls for you from different places, marketplace, thrift shops, etc. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you not only what I hauled, but what I do with some of those items. I've got 4 different items, and I'm going to show you what I do with them, and they kind of have a little bit of a Valentine's theme. First off, I have this little suitcase or train case, and then I got these just a little frame and this pretty heart. I think it's porcelain. This is a little desk set that I got, and I thought that would come in handy. I bought these little, I guess it's for your kitchen, salt and pepper shaker and this little tin, and I thought I'd remake those. This is just a little canister set, and I thought I could use those in my coffee bar. I got these as a challenge to myself. And here we have a vase, a towel holder, and some other thing. And trays. I got lots of trays, guys. Lots of trays. I got this wonderful canister set that I'm really excited about. Super nice, and I think I'm going to be doing something with those. Even though they already look nice, I'll be adding to them. But that was something that I needed, that I found. These lamps, I absolutely love them. They're super heavy. They've got this very vintage cottage look to them. I don't even think I'm going to be changing anything about them. I like the color. They've got this wonderful patina. Love those. All of these birds, all of them in this little lot, I got from a lady, and plus 2 more that my husband dropped and broke that aren't in there. I got all of these for $5, and I love birds, and so I am actually going to be doing a few things with these birds very soon in my spring getting my stuff together type of thing, little vignettes and things. But I love birds. So these 2 frames, they're actually mirrors, and they are antique, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. You have to see them up close. And the mirror on it is it's distorted. It's not that it's dirty. It's just it's an old mirror, but they're absolutely beautiful, and the patina on them's gorgeous. And I know some people would probably paint them white, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I bought this tea set, and honestly, guys, on a lot of this silver stuff, the silver plate, it's not worth anything. This is definitely not. This 3 boxes are nesting boxes, and they're very heavy and very well made, and I got all 3 of them for $10. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but I have some ideas. This is like a little wine carrier box. It's a little wood box. I thought it was pretty, and I got it for $5. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I thought for $5 it was worth trying to do something. And baskets. I love baskets. And this is one of those little, like I guess for silverware or whatever. That's probably not what I'm going to use it for. And then again, some more silver trays. That's right. Some of these are nicer trays, and I do paint my trays, but not the good ones. Okay, this tea set. Oh my gosh, guys, it is heavy and good silver, and I won't be painting these, but it's beautiful. $30. The same lady had these little tiered trays, and of course they're not silver, But boy, oh boy, I love all them for risers. Okay, this is fantastic. I absolutely love it. It was from somebody in my neighborhood, $5, and it is heavy duty, and I love it. So let's get into our video for today. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take one of the vases that I thrifted, or the vase, and it is a nice, kind of a pink colored glass, and I'm going to add this napkin to it because it has a very, very similar pink, and I'm wanting to do something that's kind of where it blends in and has I don't know, see-through almost, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but I want it to be barely seen. And I know that with the white background and the pink of this rose, that they will blend really well together. So I'm just taking a brush with water on it, and I'm going over the area that I want to tear out. I don't want straight lines, so I'm going to do that. And I'm doing the front and the back, which, just to have the design going all the way around. And all I'm going to do with that is I am going to take some of my top coat and use it to decoupage. You can use anything that you use to top coat. You can use Mod Podge. You can use just glue. It doesn't really matter. I like using my top coat just because it's kind of like an all-in-one thing. I'm sealing it, I'm putting it down, and I'll just use it to go over it. So all I'm going to do with this is I am going to take my little fan brush, and I like using my fan brush when I'm using napkin, just because it is very delicate and you have to really be careful. It's pretty easy to tear a napkin. So I'm going to go ahead and just place this down, and I'm going to try and get most of the wrinkles out, but I do want some in there. That's part of what the look is going to be. But so what I do is I put my whatever glue or adhesive that I'm going to be using, and in this case my top coat, I'll put it on, and I usually, if it's a rounded type object, I will try and get the middle down first, and then I work my way out. Sometimes if it's like a round Christmas ball or something, I will actually cut the item a little bit so it forms better, but this isn't that hard to get on there. And I'm going to go over it, and of course I'm going to go lightly with my finger in a couple spots, but I actually don't press down with my finger. I really go light because these napkins tear very, very easily. And yes, there are some wrinkles in there, but I do want some in there. I don't want any bubbles, and I don't want anything like that. And I'm going to take most of the wrinkles out, but you can see how pretty that rose looks on that glass. It blends in perfectly, and it's going to give it a really, I think, a very sophisticated look when it's done. And it takes this, I think I paid 50 cents for this vase. It was in like a lot of, like, I don't know, five things for, or for, $4 or $5 or something. I don't remember. It was not much. This was at the thrift store along with the ugly chicken and the other teapot. So anyway, I could have left it the way it was. It's fine, vase, but that's not what we do, right? So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and I just kind of measure, eyeball it to have it on the other side, just so that, it's equivalent on both sides. I'm just making sure I got it in the right spot. And then I'm just going to do the same thing and just get this all down. And when I do this, I go ahead and put a top coat of the same sealer that I'm using to glue it down with over the top. And that's pretty much it. I'll do a little bit more to it later, but this is super easy, and it's customizing this vase. If you've got like this would be pretty on just a plain glass vase that you get from the dollar store. It just so happens that this dusty rose color matches pretty well to this napkin. And by the way, I got the napkin at Temu, which I ordered quite a few of them. I have a haul video on my other channel. I'll link that channel below because in case you want to see. I don't do the same things on each channel, so I try to remember what I did where. But anyway, I did get a bunch of napkins from Temu, and I was very pleasantly surprised with all of them. They all look pretty nice. So, and they're a lot cheaper than what you could get them at a lot of other places. So you may want to look over there and see if you use napkins for decoupage, which I do all the time. So I am using just some plastic, what do you call it? Saran wrap, and that's what is in that little ball right there. And I use that to smooth it down. It will take a lot of the wrinkles out. It'll get rid of the bubbles. So after you decoupage, just take a wad of it and go ahead and go over it with that, and it will definitely take out a good deal of your bubbles and things. So anyway, this is my frame. We're moving on, and I jump from thing to thing because I wait for things to dry, and while something's drying, I go to the next thing. So that's kind of the order in which I do them in. So I clean off this mirror, and it's very deceiving because, I keep cleaning it off, right? But then the little kind of smoky, hazy thing keeps coming back, and I try different things to clean it. And I finally realized that that's just the age of the mirror. It's going to stay that way. So now I'm going through my IOD transfers, and I decide I'm going to use my ephemeral transfers, these two right there. I honestly toyed with painting those frames, but they are so pretty in person. There's just no way I couldn't do it. And I could have painted the mirrors like white or something, or beige or whatever, but I got to thinking about it. I thought, well, these are transfers. I can put them right on the mirror, even though it has that kind of gold design. And yes, the mirror's kind of damaged and whatever, but it kind of goes with the whole thing, I think. So anyway, I'm cutting out the words that are not going to fit on there. It doesn't these roses don't exactly fit on there, but it's pretty close. And I just think it's going to be beautiful in there. And, I guess I could have found a picture to put in there or something like that, but I thought this would be really pretty. And I actually have a place in my home, my little half bath downstairs, where I have the colors in it are actually red and white. And that originally, like I'm saying, I was going to paint it white, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I think this is going to look really pretty in there. So see, I cleaned that mirror and it just came back. It's just an old mirror. So I'm placing that in there, trying to get it in the right spot. These transfers are super easy to use on mirror or glass. They work really, really well. If you use them on other surfaces, you want to make sure that you seal that surface, like with the sealant first, and make sure it's absolutely dry. You can do it directly on paint, but sometimes it pulls your paint up. It's better if it's sealed, and make sure your paint's sealed and whatever. But as far as doing them on mirror or glass, they work really, really easy on that. So there's going to be, some of that gold's going to be showing, and I don't know. I'm good with that. I think it looks good. It's kind of honoring the age, and these things are heavy. Let me tell you. I don't know. They're not made out of plastic. They're made out of some sort of plaster, and they're very heavy. So there we go. I think it turned out great. So now I'm on to the next one. And you get 2 of these rose patterns in there. And this one, it has a little bit more pink in it. And I'm trying to position it where I want it. And go ahead, just get it in there. I will tell you the words are the only thing you have to be careful. And I don't think it's because it's hard. I just think you don't go over it all. So now I had cut off some of the words and I'm putting them on top of where the other roses and things are. So now we're back to our vase, and I'm showing you those 2 spots on the bottom. And the reason I put a little bit of napkin and rose down there is there was a spot on there, and I just tried to scrape it off, and it actually scraped off some of the pink top layer. And I fixed it by putting a couple pieces of napkin down there, and I actually think it looks good. There's always a fix in crafting. So now I'm using some rub and buff to go over the top, because everything always looks better with rub and buff. And this is antique gold, and a lot of times people are just starting out crafting, and they always ask, well, gee, what should I get? Well, get some rub and buff. You'll use it if you're anything like me, and it lasts forever. So anyway, I'm going around the bottom, and I'm trying not to do it perfectly, and I'm trying to just barely go on there. And now I'm going over, barely touching my rose. I want this to look old and vintage, like it's been around, and like maybe it's just cracked glass or something. And I'm doing it on the other side. It's really hard when you reload your finger to not go too hard. So I'm actually offloading some more on the bottom so I don't have as much. And that one spot right there, I got more than I wanted, but that's okay. That's all right. It's not really a problem. I think it looks great in the end. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do to this. You don't have to seal the rub and buff, and we've already sealed the napkin on there, and I think it's beautiful. Now on to my tray. Okay, guys, this tray is not even silver plate, okay? It's just a tin tray, and what's amazing is how good it looks when we're done. It's just a tin tray. It's probably, no more than the ones you get at the Dollar Tree as far as silver content. But it does have this ornate, look to it. So, and it's a pretty good sized tray. So now what I'm doing is I am going over this with a Dixie Belle buttercream. And I love that color. It's probably my favorite white color because it's not too white. Not too yellow, not too gray. It's just really one of my favorite colors. So I am going to go over this with 2 coats, front and back. And then I'm going to let it dry. And then I move on to my teapot that I'm going to be doing. And this is the teapot that was in the haul also. All of these items I'm doing were all in the haul. So I'm going to go over that again with the buttercream from Dixie Belle. And I'm going to go and do 2 coats on this. And of course, this is a little bit harder because it's a little more intricate. And I am not doing the inside, by the way. I'm just doing the outside. Technically, I guess you could still use it. So anyway, I'm going to go let that dry after I've done it. And now we're going to move on to something. We're going to be using this for our teapot. And I'm using amazing casting resin. It sets up within 10 minutes, and you put equal parts of A and B together, and then you mix it. And I'm going to be pouring actually 2 molds that I need for my my little coffee pot, and I'm going to have enough extra in there that I end up doing 3. I always make sure that I have an extra mold. So that I don't, if I don't want to waste any. So here's the thing. When you're going to use resin on a curved surface, you have to pull it while the mold is still not 100% cured, and then it will bend. And I use super glue and Gorilla super glue, and I use a little bit of super super glue construction adhesive to put it on there. You have to do it while it's still warm and you can bend. Otherwise, you really need to use your air dry clay, because once it gets hard, you will not be able to, bend it to get it where you want. You can heat it up with your heat gun a little bit, but it's not going to be as much as you need to. So anyway, all I was doing is putting some more of my Dixie Belle paint on there, and now I'm making some salt wash with my buttercream Dixie Belle and some salt wash. And of course you can use baking soda. I will tell you that I think the consistency is different and the salt wash works better, but it is not inexpensive. So, you know, what you get, I mean, it works well enough, but I think the salt wash works better. So what I'm doing here, and I always do this on my molds, is I make a little bit of salt wash and I put it on the inside of the mold, tuck it in there to make sure that it looks like it's part of whatever item I'm doing and it's not just stuck on there. So I'll do that and then put a little bit of salt wash all over the object. So now this is my tin pan that I have, and I am going to be using decoupage paper on there, and this is the Roy recycled paper, and it is gorgeous. I believe it's called wallpaper, and it is really, really just gorgeous paper. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking my pen and I am putting my paper inside the pan, and I'm tracing around to get a shape of the inside so that I can cut it out. And I'm going to go in right inside the line. I'm going to cut all the way around. And I'm not looking for perfect, guys. I'm actually going to distress this. What I'm going to do later is I just take a wet brush and I'm going to go around the edges, and I'm going to take my sandpaper and just kind of give it a rough edge like you see there. And then I'm just going to decoupage it on there. I'm going to start on one end, and I'm using the same thing that I used on the vase because it's going to seal it and it's also going to glue it. And I'm going with my hand to go over it. A decoupage paper is a lot more forgiving than napkin. Napkin, if you did this, it would rip. So I'm going all the way across, and I'm going to try and get all the air bubbles out. But I do use that saran wrap trick on this when I'm done, because you'll always get bubbles. But there I am using my saran wrap to get all the bubbles out. And I'm going around again, and I am going to go ahead and I think put about 2 coats on there of my sealant. So now what I'm doing is, this is the casting. I had made an extra casting of what I put on my teapot, and this is the napkin I'm going to be using for my rose that I'm going to put inside that casting. And I'm just taking a wet paintbrush to kind of go around it so I have the shape of what I want to put in there. And I am going to just go ahead. I've already put some of that same sealant, I think it's called Colorantic, on there. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on there and put a coat on top of it. And then I go around with a wet paintbrush again and pull off the extra paper. And I'm doing it while it's wet, just because it's easier to do on this mold than if you wait until it's dry and try and sand it. It's easier to do things and sand it when it's dry, when it's a straight edge, but when it's something like that mold, it's actually not that easy to do that. So on this one, I don't have an extra casting, so I am taking my mold and I'm just getting a wet paintbrush and going around. This is that same napkin, but it's just a different part of the napkin to get what I want. This is just like another port. It's a really pretty napkin, again from Temu, and I'm going to put this on the back one. It's a smaller casting, and so I'm using smaller flowers, and I'm wanting a very vintagey, cottagey look to this whole thing, and I think we're going to achieve that. But so anyway, now what I'm doing is, after I trimmed all of them off with my water and my sanding, I am taking my paint and just going around the edges for any residual that's still there. So now that that's all dry, I am taking a little of that same top coat that I used to glue everything down, and I'm going to take a little bit of my vintage photo, and you could use paint, you could use wax even, but I am trying to put a little bit of a stain on the in there so that I can go ahead and do two things. I'm basically putting a top coat on there because this is a top coat, but I'm also getting it in all of those little indentations and everything, and I'm giving this a little bit of more of a vintage look. And of course I'm wiping off any excess that I have, and this stuff is very liquid. You could achieve the same thing with the wax. You could do it with any kind of paint, and water it down. But I feel like this does a really good job of doing two things. It's sealing it, and I will go over it with clear sealer after again. But it's sealing it, and it's also, adding a little bit of age and vintageness to it. So I'm going over the whole thing, and this was dry. My paint was dry, and my decoupage images were dry before I did this. I'm just, going over this after everything's dry and adding this to it. And I wipe off a lot of it. And you have time to wipe it off. It's not like it doesn't dry immediately. So, but I do wipe off a lot of it, but then I leave a lot in the little edging and all that, because my goal on this is to have it look authentically old, like it's, was around for a while. And that's kind of, what I'm trying to do here. So anyway, I'm making sure that I just spilled some there. I'm just making sure that I get it in all those little details, because that's what makes this look good. And then, of course, the details on the two castings that we put there. And again, I wipe off a lot of it, so it doesn't look like the hot mess that you see here when I'm all done. And I'm just using a baby wipe to get it off of there. And you should have no problem for, I don't know, probably up to 10 minutes before it starts to dry to get it off. So now I'm using that same mixture of the vintage photo to go over my tray, and I think I go over it like 2 times, front and back. And I'm going to let that dry, and now I'm back to my little coffee pot again, and this time I am using some permanent ink, and you can use any permanent ink. You don't have to use what I use, but I usually use archival ink because that's what I have. And I'm taking the actual pad and I'm going over spots anywhere that you would normally see wear, and where it would be, look older. And again, I'm going to take my wipe and I'm going to wipe it back because we have a sealer on there, and even this is permanent. You do have a little bit of time that you can wipe off the excess if you put too much on. And I do some with my dauber, but I do the majority of it just straight from my pad. And I'm just trying to hit the highlights of all the areas that you would normally see wear. and I'm, wiping off wherever I put too much. And I'm just kind of going around, and you just kind of have to play with it and get it to your liking. Again, if you don't like all that, you guys could have left out all of the antiquing, all of the, making it look old part. Some people, don't want it like that. I pretty much do that to everything, so that's just kind of how I do it. I want it to look old. I want people to guess, is that old or is it new? So anyway, I'm going to do that all over, get stuff where I need it. And I don't know. I do it on my tray, and now I'm going anywhere on my tray, front and back, on the parts that you would normally see any type of wear on the edges, on the higher end parts of it. And I do that all over with the same ink. And then I'm going to take my good old rub and buff, and I am going to go all over the higher end portions of that. And I do the same thing with the not teapot, coffee pot. Only I add a lot more on the coffee pot, basically, to all of the pieces, like the handle and the spout and the bottom and the top and around my molds, as if I want it to look as if they were all gilded at some time and it chipped off. So I'm putting a lot more there. And I do think the rub and buff and the antiquing, that definitely gives it a very French provincial, French look to it by doing that. More of a cottagey look to it than if you were to just leave it white. If you leave it just white, to me, it looks a little bit more shabby, but not as cottage. So, it really just depends on your decor and what you like. I don't know that you can really see the shine on the rub and buff, on the screen, but it does really, I think, bring it up a notch. So it just, to me, something that looks authentic to me, because that's how it would look. An old piece like that would look like, it would have little pieces of gold still there, the rest of it worn off. And of course I go around the molds too, and make sure I hit the highlights on that. And it does take a while to go through there and do that. And I have tried before using a paintbrush, but it never works. I always end up using my fingers when I'm putting rub and buff on, so I just start with my fingers. You can get it off pretty easy with alcohol. The other thing too is I have a little wipe there. You can get some off if you need to. So here's the finished product. Here's my vase. I love how this turned out. It looks like the rose is just almost etched on there or embedded into this vase because the colors are so similar. And then here is our coffee pot. I love how this is my favorite, guys. This has turned out so good. So cottagey, so French. Absolutely love it. I don't know. It turned out really, really good, I think. Here's the other side of it. So, and I think putting the molds on there with the roses just took it to a different level. Completely different level than if you were just to paint it, So then here is our beautiful frames. They are gorgeous. They're just gorgeous. I am so glad I resisted the urge to paint them white. Sometimes we gotta let things take us where they need to take us, and these are so pretty. So pretty. And I think they're gonna look great in that bathroom. So it really, I don't know. I just love it. I'm just glad that I did not paint them. I came so close to doing it, and they're so pretty. And then here's a tray, that little tin tray that looks so nice now. I'm going to have this in my guest bedroom. That's very shabby chic cottagey, and I love it. I love that decoupage paper. I'm going to be using it more. And it's amazing how nice this little tin tray looks. Just, it didn't take much to do these things. These were all pretty easy. So anyway, this is everything together, and this is probably my Valentine's decorating. I don't do a lot of Valentine's decorating, but these are Valentine's colors. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will be doing a few more little kind of Valentine's things, and then we're going to move right to spring. So hopefully I'll see you again soon, guys.